Pierre-Jules Theophile Gautier was a French writer and poet. Born in 1811 in Tarbes, son of Jean-Pierre Gautier and Antoinette Adelaide Coquard, Gautier lived in Paris from 1814 and studied at Collège Louis-le-Grand, which he left soon due to illness, and then at Collège Charlemagne, where he became friends with Gerard Nerval. It was Nerval who subsequently introduced him in turn to Victor Hugo. In 1830 he became member of a circle of writers which included both Gerard de Nerval and Alexandre Dumas. Gautier proceeded to travel frequently to Spain, Algeria, Russia and Egypt, among other places. He served as director of the Revue de Paris between 1851 and 1856. He also became editor and journalist for several important periodicals, including L'Artiste in 1856. He was rejected as a potential member by the French Academy 3 times, in 1867, 1868 and 1869, for being admitted thanks to the intervention of Charles-Augustin Sainte-Beuve. In 1868 he also secured the position of librarian to Princess Mathilde Bonaparte, which resulted in him being granted access to the court of Emperor Napoleon III. Gautier died shortly after the end of the Franco-Prussian War in 1872 in Neuilly-sur-Seine. One of Cleopatra's Nights and Other Fantastic Romances is a collection of several stories with a quasi-romantic supernatural motif. The collection, published in 1882 originally, was translated by Lafcadio Hearn, and the stories in it, though perhaps at times dwelling too long on amorous glances and descriptions, can be very atmospheric and can provide an interesting interpretation on old motifs. The title story is that of a brazen young peasant during the reign of Cleopatra, who conceives a mad love for the queen and breaks her out of her boredom by declaring his love to her on the body of an arrow shot through her window, and she resolves to oblige him for a day at the cost of his own life. Clarimonde is an interesting take on the vampire tale. We have a young man who falls in love just as he is ordained as a priest, and at every night he feels like he is no longer a priest but a gallant and lover of the infamous courtesan Clarimonde, who seems to love him despite her being dead and despite her appetite for blood. Aria Marcella is the tale of one of a group of students who stumble around Pompeii during their vacation. Octavian in particular seems keen on finding a certain ruined villa, after he had previously fallen in love with the stone-encrusted remains of one of its former occupants in a museum. And then at night, as he is taking a nighttime stroll around the ruins of the city, he finds himself transported into ancient Pompeii. The Mummy's Foot is a short tale of a Parisian who buys the foot of a mummified princess to use as a paperweight, and what came to pass when he went to sleep that very night. Omphale, a Rococo story, recounts how the narrator in youth kept getting the supernal company of a long-dead noblewoman every night, a noblewoman who had taken a fancy to him as she hung in his room embroidered on a piece of old tapestry. And finally we have King Candaules, which narrates how King Candaules of Sardia married a famed Persian princess, who is seen as the most beautiful woman of her age. However, she is so modest and shy that she veils herself completely and refuses to show any one of her subjects what she looks like excepting her husband. And then one night Candaules, tired of this, gets the whim to hide the captain of his guard, the young Giges, in his bedchamber so he could catch a glimpse of her and be the king's confidant. Unbeknownst to King Candaules, however, Giges had already seen the princess's face once in the past while travelling in Bactria. The single glance sufficed to capture his heart and soul and engender a mad love that the king's whim will soon fan into a fever pitch.